Hold up for a second. Did Fujimoto just add cake to the War Devil? I'm going to be honest with you. We've had a lot of panels of Yoru for a long time, since part 2 began, and I do not remember Yoru being this stacked. I legitimately do not recall this. If anyone has some comparison panels, please send them my way, because I'm legitimately curious, because it's like Fujimoto decided to lock in. Like, he locked in when it came to drawing this chapter, and is like, I'm about to make Yoru look absolutely intimidating in the best way possible. Okay, jokes aside, we really gotta talk about Chainsaw Man, okay? So, this chapter is legitimately incredible for a variety of reasons. I mean, for one, obviously, we get this great moment with Chainsaw Man, or, you know, Denji here, basically saying, give blood. It's just, it's so good. I love this entire little interaction, because obviously it offers a lot to the audience from just this panel alone. For one, it offers a comedic gag of just seeing this very brutal entity that is Chainsaw Man, that obviously we know could easily chop through anyone he wants, just holding up a sign is like, give me blood, give me blood, give me blood. It's just, it's comedic. It really fits into just the comedy and the fun hilariousness of Chainsaw Man since the very beginning that Fujimoto has wrote into the story. But also, what this panel does represent is there's a lot of copium right now, and hopium, that this could reference that the Blood Devil, aka Power, not exactly our Power, but a version of her, could theoretically return. Because obviously give blood, Blood Devil, you know, and all that, the reference and the meaning and the message to what the Blood Devil represents to Puchita and Denji, you get the point. So obviously there's a lot of hopium and copium going along with this panel alone. That's not including all the hopium and copium that people are doing for Rize, which has been out of the series for over 100 chapters at this point. We know she's alive in some way. We just don't know exactly where she's at or what she's doing at the current moment. But judging by the course of, you know, this chapter and what happens basically towards the end of it, we can only speculate that it's only a matter of time until we see a lot of the weapon devils appear and face off against Denji / Puchita in the upcoming chapters. So let's get right into this. So first off, we gotta talk about this beginning sequence, okay? Where the chapter really begins with seeing Yoru using the iconic signature move from the Gun Devil, Bang, which is obviously what Makima used as well at the end of part 1 of Chainsaw Man, and this is just a really great little sequence, especially with the ending of last chapter, just seeing how Yoru called in the Tank Devil and the Gun Devil to basically assimilate with herself, to give herself hands once again, to be able to fight back. It was such an incredible panel, and honestly, these past few chapters of Chainsaw Man have just been absolutely jaw-dropping in terms of quality and obviously direction where the story is going, because we've got a lot of lore as of late, to the fact that, you know, Chainsaw Man can legitimately spit up devils and concepts of devils, aka the mouth devil in this moment, and obviously you see, you know, Yoru get her actual mouth back within the chapter. Once again, Fujimoto doing a little bit of yacht here, but anyways, back onto the actual point. I really like just seeing, you know, Yoru trying to fight back and trying to get everything out of Chainsaw Man's stomach, so to speak. And I even like the little breakdown here of how she used basically her children of war to fight back against Chainsaw Man. And her statement to Asa is honestly such an incredible moment here, and it obviously adds a lot to the character, where it's like, children are their parents' property. No, obviously this is very unhinged, this is not right, this is really wrong, but obviously what Asa is saying here is that she is willing to use anything that is hers to be able to face Chainsaw Man, and going along with her abilities as the War Devil and how she could turn things that are attached to her, etc., into weapons, that means that theoretically, with this vague concept, anything that is derivative of war itself is theoretically her children. So that's basically what she's saying. Anything that could theoretically spawn from war itself, the essence of war, that is considered her children, which she will use to make as a weapon. And that's what makes this finale of the chapter such an amazing moment, which I'm gonna pull it up here, where you actually see the Statue of Liberty and also seeing Yoru putting her finger up and all that, and you just see the cracks starting to form on the Statue of Liberty's face. Now, a lot of people are a little bit confused about this, and honestly, I don't fully understand everything myself, but there is a few things to really take away from what this represents. And we gotta go back to what she said in the chapter, that the children, her children, are her property, aka that means she can make them into weapons. And so, what would theoretically be classified as her children within Chainsaw Man's verse? Well, let's look at this. Obviously, we got the Gun Devil, we got the Tank Devil. You know, I guess theoretically, depending on how you look at it, you could say any form of vehicle is a weapon, depending on how people use it. Obviously, knives, any form of weapons. You obviously have, like, some form of grenades or explosive stuff like that, that theoretically can be a derivative of the War Devil, aka her children. And then, let's not get into the other vague concepts. Justice and liberty and freedom. Let's think about this for a second. Now, obviously, I can be looking a little bit too deep into this. I want to be honest here, completely blunt. It's completely fine if I'm wrong. But I do feel like what the chapter is trying to represent is that because of how vague war is, and just how things can really branch from it, and when you think about just the history of humanity itself, a lot of the concepts that we have everywhere, okay? A lot of the inventions were inspired or created for war purposes, to some degree. Not everything, but a lot of things within our society. And so, if we're going along with the stretched concept of everything that's affiliated with war is her children and indirectly or directly is her property, that means freedom itself literally is her child. Because think about this, why do you fight for freedom? Well, you fight for freedom to fight back against people that try to oppress you, remove your rights, etc., and you fight back and you go to war. Legit, that's what happens. And so, the very concept of freedom is rebellion and slash a call to justice, so to speak, to fight back against oppressors. And so, War using this moment and seeing her, like, put her fingers up like the Statue of Liberty, it's probably implying that the very concept of freedom and liberty itself is War's child. So, I like that. It's really cool, and I love where Fujimoto is taking these concepts. He's basically saying, depending on how high up on the totem pole a devil is, they theoretically are the mother or father of the children that is below them, that, you know, is derivative of them. It's really cool. I love this concept. I love what Fujimoto's cooking here for these past few chapters, and I like especially how War is able to capitalize on this in this fight, because it fits perfectly with what War really is. So many lives lost just to be able to take down an opponent, and that's basically what Yoru is doing in this chapter, in the previous chapters, and the upcoming chapters at that. So yeah, getting off of that little moment for a second, I do want to say that I do think where this fight is going, I don't know really how it's going to end. It's implied that Yoru's doing all these actions to be able to fight Denji / Puchita because of Fami's intervention, what Fami wants, and all that, the prophecy, all that stuff that's been set up for a while. And I do think that, at this current moment, it's very clear Yoru and Asa is being used by Fami. I mean, war creates famine, that's a thing as well, and obviously if there's famine thanks to war, that means that Fami gets a lot stronger. We know how the devil system works. So I feel like there's a lot of things going on here, manipulation, control, all that type of stuff going on to really just make Fami a lot stronger. And so I don't necessarily think that War in Chainsaw Man's fight right here is necessarily like the in-game fight. I thought it was at first, like what was going on the past few chapters, so like 4 or 5 chapters ago. I made a video talking about like this fight that's going on feels very similar to the Makima versus Chainsaw Man fight we got at the end of part 1. But the more I look at this is more of a setup for the finale, because it's like Yoru and Chainsaw Man fighting. It's like they're fighting because of circumstances. They're fighting because it's forced upon them at this current moment. It's very clear, just judging by, you know, Chainsaw Man's interaction here, how he basically flees and is looking for blood and all that. And even though it's very funny, it's clear that he's not fully wanting to eviscerate Yoru. there's a lot of complications here. And I wonder exactly what's going to happen with this. And I feel like this is reminding me a lot of not actually the fight of Makima versus Denji, but the fight of Aki versus Denji. That's what this reminds me of. So, yeah, I hope nothing bad necessarily happens, because we do know how Fujimoto likes to write his stories, so we'll see where that one's gonna go. And also, Fujimoto, continue to cook, man. Continue to cook with the cake on Yoru. Yeah, you had no business doing this, but I guess you saw too much fan art and you decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna make official art. But all jokes, memes, and stuff aside, I love the direction of Chainsaw Man right now. Fujimoto really is setting up some crazy plot threads right now, and really only time will tell where he actually wants to take the said story, because it's like, he can go any direction right now. I mean, we could have a major character death, Fami could become all powerful, Control could come back, you know, Rize could come back, you know, there's a lot of things, even Power to some degree. There's so much potential here that I don't really know what to say. I mean, that's not even including, like, the Death Devil as well. And if we're going along the concept of how strong War is, thanks to the very concept of War itself and being able to use anything, we can also see maybe humans, since they're technically a product of War, she might be able to switch that into, like, turning all humans into her property. And then that's not even including the Death Devil and what they're potentially capable of now, considering how powerful War is. So, yeah, man, like, I'm legit curious. But okay, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.